Hi friends, this is Arun. So welcome to Python Learners. So today we are going to see about Django framework. So the language I'm going to use is Python. So the database which I'm going to use is MongoDB. So let us see some demo session so that we'll get a clear idea. So and also I just want to let you know that this is my first video. So please support me. So if you feel something like a negative or some issues, please let me know via comment. So it helps me to upgrade myself to give you the better content. So without wasting time, let us dive into the project. So for the Django project, so we need some packages to be installed. So let us install first. So what I have done is, so I just created one file requirements.txt. So in that I just added the packages whatever the required. So the first package will be Django, and second will be Django REST framework. Third one will be Django and Django course header, and then fifth one will be SQL parse. Sixth PyMongo, and seventh one will be DNS Python. So we are going to install all of these packages. So the command to install all of this package will be pip3 install hyphen or requirements.txt. So when you just hit enter, so it will install all the packages. So if already installed, it won't install again. So if it not installed, it will install all the necessary packages. So next one is we need to create a project so that we can able to dive into the project. So Django has some beauty. So we don't need to create each and every file. So like Django itself have some predefined files. So to enable that files, so first we need to like provide one command. So that will be Django hyphen admin dot py start project. So then we need to give our project name. So let me give it as app1. So my project name will be app1. So let us just press enter. So once I press enter, so the left side you can able to see the folder will be created with the app1 name. Just hit enter. Oh, I think we are in the wrong directory. So it created somewhere else. Let us move to the proper directory. So let's just enter the same command. As you can see, so the project has been created. So inside the project we have like manage.py file. So that will be the main file. So inside that we have one folder called app1, the same name. So that holds four files. Init file, so that's a calling file. Then settings.file, that will be most important file. URLs, that will be like endpoints, or all endpoints will be stored here. So and then wsgl file. So it will be the like a configuration file. So this file we don't need to do anything. So first let us edit the settings.py file. So that will be the main file for our project. So first thing we are going to check will be allowed host. So let us allow all the hosts now. So under before continuing, let us create our app because the app holds the main functionality for us to get started. So the command to create our app will be Python. So let us move to our proper directory inside our app1 folder. So inside that we need to provide a command Python manage.py start app, and we need to provide name of our app. So let me call it as API. Just hit enter. On the hit of enter, you can able to see this API folder is created. Inside that API folder, you can able to see some files. So init file, admin file, apps.py file, model file, test, and then views.py file. So meanwhile, let us create two files. The one file will be serializer. serializers.py. So and then another file will be urls.py. So we just created two files. So I will let you know what is the use of these two files. So let us first uh, edit our settings.py file. So that holds like main configurations. So allowed host we are making as all host allowed. So under the next will be we need to like give cross origin. So because whenever like we are deploying our API in one server and frontend is in another server, so like course error will come. So to overcome that error, we need to enable CORS in our backend. So what we need to do is we need to set it as true so that we won't get a CORS error. So second thing will be we need to register our installed apps. So what are the apps we install? We need to register that app. So the first will be our app will be API. So that's what the app we created. So and then we need to register REST framework. So REST framework will be the one of the most important framework for Django because all the serializers and status, many things are depending on this REST framework. And then post header also we need to enter here. Make sure uh, you spell correctly so that we won't get any error or else we'll be getting some error. And also for a post header we need to just copy this and we need to create middleware for the course header. So below the session header we need to create course header. So like course header dot middleware dot course middleware. So this will be the middleware. To make sure all of your spelling will be correct. So and then our next configuration will be database. So as I told you, I'm going to use MongoDB. So what we are going to do is just we are going to comment to the default database. Django provides default database SQLite, but we are not going to use that. So what we are going to do is we are going to use MongoDB so that configuration will be slightly different. So I will tell you how to do. So engine name we need to configure it as Django. So there will be two differences. Django is different and Django is different. So what is Django means? Django will be uh, MongoDB connector for us. So we'll be having like a three connector. So to connect like a Django to the MongoDB, one will be Django, another will be Mongo engine, and another will be like MongoDB's official connector by Mongo. So now we are going to use Django connector. So we need to provide our database name. So let me call it as Django project 1. After that, we need to provide info schema. So because whenever there is some error, MongoDB will not save the data. So in order to overcome that, what we are going to do is we are going to make it as false. There is like a slight warning or error. It needs to saved. So we are just giving like info schema to false. And then next will be host. So host will come under client. So inside the client, we are going to have host. Make sure it is in double quotes. The host will be in the small character. So we are going to copy the host. Let us just copy from the MongoDB itself. Let us copy the connection string and then let us paste it here. So this is what the configuration for the database. Make sure alignment and everything will be proper because Python mostly checks alignment. So I think the configuration for the settings has been done. Let us save this file and then let us move on to the urls.py. So the urls.py file, so this will be like our project URL. So what we are going to do is we are going to uh, create URLs in the our app itself instead of coming back to project again and again. So what we are going to do is we are going to just create endpoints in our app itself. So this is like project level urls.py file. So another one will be like our app. So what we need to do is we need to just give include functionality. We are just going to include our API dot URLs. So what this is, okay, it is giving some error message because we forgot to import include. So that's it. Is there any other error? What is this error? It is saying API is not defined. Let us check. API is defined here. Okay, so this one we need to give inside the double quotes. That's why this error is coming up. Let us provide inside the double quote. Let us save this. So only this is the configuration. So from where we are getting this file will be, so under API folder we just created urls.py file, right? So that is the file we are importing here. So that's the configuration for URLs, and settings also completed. So this is like a project level configuration. So we have done those changes. So and then let us move on to our app level configuration. So the app level, first let us create one model so that we can able to work on that. Just 1 minute. Okay, hi. So the main part of file will be models file. So in the models file, what we are going to do is we are going to create, we are going to declare what are the parameters that needs to be in the database, and also like a database structure also we are going to create it here. So by default it will be Django.db, but we are going to use Django connector. So we need to use Django connector. So and then let us create our first model, or also we can call it as a first collection, first MongoDB collection. So the way we need to create will be we need to define in the class. Let us call our collection name as store config. So inside that we need to pass that models dot model m will be caps. So and then we need to declare a variable. So let us call it as first one will be location ID. So what we can do is we will try different data types. So first one will be, let us call this one as char field. So in the char field we can able to give some conditions. Let's say example maximum length. So maximum length of this character should not exceed this value. Let's say example I'm giving 100 now, and then it needs to be unique across the database. So that we are going to set it as true, and then let us call this value as a primary key also. So next parameter, let us call it as store name. Store name, it will be just a char field. So here we will just give two conditions. One will be maximum length, we will call it as 100, and also let us declare blank equal to false. So blank equal to false means what it means, so it won't take empty values, so you must need to pass this value. So next one, for validation purpose, let us take some IP value. Receiver IP will be models dot, let us call it as generic IP field. So in this let us call blank equal to same, we set it as false, and then let us declare one input integer field. So let us call it as receiver IP. It will be models dot integer field. So same, I will declare blank equal to false. So I think let us go with like only one model right now. So later on we'll see how to create multiple models. So next we need to create edit will be serializer. So serializer will be like so this will be one of the validation field. So let us just create after that how it is working. Let me tell you while like we are creating a view function. So import fields. We need to import fields, and then from REST framework we need to import serializer. REST framework import serializer, and then so next one will be we need to import our models here so that we can able to pass the model for the validation purpose. So from model we can import. So we have only one model that will be store config. Let us import that. So if you want to import all, we can give just a star. So by the way we can import all this. So this also the syntax will be same. So we need to store it as store serializer. So inside that what we need to do is serializers dot model serializer. So we have like a two serializer. One will be normal serializer and another will be model serializer. So we have advantage over serializer over model serializer, because in serializer we need to declare all the fields. But in model serializer we don't need to declare all the fields. So instead of that what we are going to do is, so we will pass our model here. So by that way it will take all the fields from the model. So in case if we need to like just want to avoid some fields, so here we can declare all the fields. But right now what we are going to do is we are going to allow all the fields to pass. So this will be the validation part. Let us come little later after creating a view. We'll come back here so that you will we can clearly I can clearly explain you how the model and serializer works. So view file, so this will be the most important file, because from here only all the files we are going to call. Our endpoint will call view function only. So here will be our all of our logic will be handled. So first we need to import like a few parameters. Let us import that so that it will be easy for us to work on. So first will be we are importing JSON response. So JSON response will be one of the important field, because we are going to return all the values as JSON response. So that's why we are importing JSON, and then we need to import JSON. So just import JSON, and then we need to import parser. So parser, because for post method we will be sending the data to the view function. So that will be coming as a JSON document. So we need to from REST framework using JSON parser only, like we need to call. So what we are going to do is we are going to import parser. So from REST framework dot parser import JSON parser. So and then from JSON we are importing JSON util. Import JSON util, and then from same JSON dot object id import object id, and then we need to import few decorators. That will be like one of the validation field for us, and also it will avoid few errors. So first what we are going to import will be csrf. So it is one kind of decorator which will be used to avoid csrf error. Import csrf exempt. So next will be we are importing like a API view. So API will be used to restrict methods. So let's say example in our function, if you don't have like get or delete method, so it won't allow inside our function. So while entering the function itself, it will throw you an error. By the way, we don't need to look and we don't need to execute all the things. So next one will be status, because as a backend developer, the status will be most important thing for the frontend developer too. We need to post the status for the from REST framework. We are importing status. So then we need to import our models and serializers here. So from API dot models import store config, and then from API dot serializer import store serializers. So these are the imports we need to do. So without wasting time, let us create our first function. So first we will call it as decorator CSR of exempt, and then we will call API view. So inside API view, we need to declare what are the methods we are going to allow for this function. So post method we are going to log it. Let us create one by one so that I can show you how it will be helpful. So let us call our function name as store config itself, but we can't give the store config as a name because already we created a function, model called store config. So just we will add one character extra. So here it will receive a request from the user. So next we will just declare one empty dictionary. So this will be used to return response in a valid JSON format. So first we need to check whether the method will be proper or not. For that, request dot method. So request dot method equal to post. First we are going to create the data. So I'm just creating a post method. We are going to use try except block so that if some error comes, it won't. 500 error won't come. So try except block will handle that error. So that's why we are going to just use this one. So basically I will be using like a my response type will be status and then data. So because what it refers is whenever it is failed or success, by looking at the response status we'll get to know that. So that's why I will be preferring to use something like this. So but it will be your wish, and based on the requirement we need to do this. So let us call the error messages data not saved. So because it is a create method, so that's why we are just giving it as this one, and then we need to return this when there is some error in our function. So we need to return this. So for that we need to pass JSON response of response, comma status equal to status dot. So it will be 400. If it is error, we need to 400 bad request. So this will be the error message we are going to provide. So let us start writing try block now. From the try block, first we need to get the data from the user. So in the user data we are going to call JSON parser of dot parser parse of request. We are going to pass this so that it will pass as a JSON data. So and then now we are going to call validation. So whatever the user data comes, we need to validate, right? So we just declare it as serialize. We just this name will be like a just a whatever the name we prefer, we can use it. So our validation field will be serializer. In that we need to pass data equal to user data. So let me explain this once. So okay, so what happening is, so we are calling store serializer, so and we are passing user data. So let us imagine that location ID, store name, receiver IP, receiver port is coming here. So what it will do is it will route it, it will call serializer file. So it will come here, and then it will check what is the model we defined, because model serializer we don't need to define the fields here. So we are just passing models here. So it will call model file, and then it will check store config. So when location ID comes, it will check whether it is a char field or not, and then it should not exceed maximum length. It needs to be unique or not, primary key or not. It will check. So likewise, store name, receiver IP, receiver. Sorry, this one will be receiver port. So this will check all these fields. After that, it will come back. here. So and we are going to just write a condition. Okay, if everything is correct means we need to allow. So it will be is valid off. If it is a valid, what we are going to do is we are going to save this, and then we are going to return a positive response. So same response of status equal to success, and then response of data equal to serialize dot data. Same thing, whatever the data in the serializer we are just going to pass. So in case if it is failed, then we need to give uh, some response, right? What is the error? We need to show the user what is the exact error. So what we are going to do is the serializer itself, it will show you what is the error, exact error. So for that we need to call errors. So by this way, we'll be catching the errors also. Let us save this. So I think this is all about the create method. So we have done the create method now. Let us try this so that we'll get to know what is the error we are getting. So is there any error is there or not? We'll get to know. So let us start this. So first what we need to do is we need to migrate our models to the database. So for that we need to give a command Python. So I think we need to go to our directory and then Python manage.py make migrations. So we need to just hit enter. So if there is some error in any of the file, it will show you what is the error. Okay, so it's throw you some error. Let us see what is the error. api.urls. Okay, so I think we forgot that URL file. So we need to create this URL files. So we completely forgot. So that's what it said. URL file doesn't have any data. So what we are going to do is we are just going to copy this, and in this URL we are just going to paste this, and then we are just going to edit this. So we need to import our view function here from dot import views, and then on this admin endpoint is, I think we just need only one endpoint. So let us call this endpoint as store config itself. So and then here we need to give from where this is getting response. So all of our code and logics is in views. So views dot store config. So this is the name we write in the function, and we need to give just a name. So this is just a name, so it won't do anything. So we can give whatever the name we like, but I'm just giving a store so that it will store config because it will be somewhat appropriate to this. So let us save and let us do migration again. Yeah, there is no error. So next one will be like in the local, it just created migration. As you can see, it just created initial migration. That's what here. So we need to migrate it to database. So for that, what we need to do is Python manage.py migrate. So when we hit enter, as you can see, it started the same file 0001 initial. So that's what in the migration. So it just exported our collection. But when you check the MongoDB, we can't able to see any database, sorry, any collections over there. We can see database because it's migrated. As you can see, everything is migrated now. So next, if this is our collection API underscore store config. So if you go inside, we won't see any data. But when we go to index, you can able to see location ID because we set a location ID as primary key. So we migrated, so that's why primary key is assigned to this collection. But we can't see any data because still we didn't create any data. Let us create some data here. So for that, first we need to run our server. So to run the server, Python manage.py run server. So if we needed, we can pause our server name or port number, but if we give like it will start default server, what are the port available, it will assign that port and it will start default server. So when we this command so with so we need to confirm this. So how we can confirm is we can able to see starting development server and it will show you some endpoints. So this is the server which is running. So if it comes, so then server is running perfectly fine without any errors. So if there is some error means it we can't able to see the server name. By that way we can confirm there is no error in our code so far. So let us start testing this. So I just created a postman collection. So what is postman means, so postman will be the testing tool for API. So most of the time I will be using postman because it will be handy, too easy and too straightforward to test. We can create our collection inside that we can store all the methods. So likewise I just created, as you can see, the same server. Our endpoint will be store config. This is what we just given in the urls.py. So these are the parameters we declared inside the model. So I'm just passing this data. So let us send this and see. Oh, we got some error. Let us check in our okay, saying it is not found because oh, there is a typo mistake. So that's the reason. Let us save this again, because the same endpoint we need to pass in the postman. Let us try once again. Okay, it's saying failed and it's not showing even the error. Let us check what is the problem. It's saying bad request. Okay, okay, so the reason is we didn't return the database on success. We didn't pass the data, sorry, we didn't pass the return message. So that's the reason it's just given some error, but I think it won't be a much issue. It will be 200 whenever we are creating, it will be 201 created. Let us save this, but I think data has been saved, I guess. Let us refresh the database. Yeah, here we go, data is created successfully. But let us create one more data, so that so here also we can able to see our data. So I told you, right, why we need to define unique parameter. When I try to post the same data, what it will tell you is it will tell you the error message. As you can see, it's telling us error. What is the error means? Location ID already exists, because in our database already location ID 25 is exist, because we defined it as unique and primary key. So that's why MongoDB won't allow you to create same ID when we declare it as a primary field. So let us create some other ID, and also let us give some wrong IP 300. Let us test whether validation is working or not. As you can see, because each of this IP should not exceed 255. So when we give 300, it's showing error message like enter valid IPv4 or IPv6 address. So let us change this, and also let us give some integers in the port, because we declare receiver port as an integer field, but we are passing it string. Let us test this. As you can see, it is also showing valid integer is required. So this is the validation part. So let us just pause 200 and let's see. As you can see, success. So again, the second data we just created. Let us check in the database. Just to refresh the database. As you can see, it's created successfully. So this is how we need to create our data. So thank you guys. Let us see you in the next video. Let us see like a get method and put method and as well as delete method. So until then, thank you. So I hope I mentioned, so this is my first video. Please support me by subscribing, sharing this video, and also don't forget to press bell icon. Thank you.